Lady Mary must go now. She's divorced. I'm very sorry. I shouldn't have come.
The trailer kicks off with this really formal scene. Hugh Bonneville as Robert Crawley, Earl of Grantham, dressed to perfection in white tie evening wear. He's giving this speech that's part warm sentiment, part serious business. Your friendship has never been more important to all of us, but the future of Downton Abbey is now in Mary's hands. Right after that, you see everyone at the table rise from their seats, and then there's another little snippet with Laura Carmichael as Lady Edith saying, "You will be a sensation." The comments clearly aimed at Lady Mary, but before we can linger on it too much, the scene shifts, and suddenly Mary's in a tiara and this absolutely stunning red dress. The whole look screams formal event, or maybe some key turning point. From the pace of this trailer alone, it already feels like they've packed a bunch of storylines into this last chapter. Then, we get this gorgeous 1930s street scene that just oozes atmosphere. It's nighttime, the streets are buzzing, and there are bright neon signs glowing with ads like tonic water and bittersweet. It's raining, or at least drizzling, because you see people carrying umbrellas while vintage cars roll by. The whole thing feels alive, like you could step right into it. And then, without missing a beat, we jump into a grand ballroom. It's all glitter and elegance, people in their finest attire, dancing, mingling, enjoying themselves. Mary's part of that too, moving across the dance floor, looking like she's finally letting herself have some fun. But then, someone comes up to her and interrupts with, "Lady Mary must go now, she's divorced." And Mary, without making a scene, just says quietly, "I'm very sorry, I shouldn't have come," and leaves. That's all the confirmation fans needed. Mary is officially divorced. Honestly, I feel a little vindicated here because I've always thought she and Henry weren't a great match. It never felt natural, more like something written in because Matthew Goode wasn't available to commit fully. They could have taken the story in a bunch of different directions to explain his absence, but this is the one they landed on. In a way, it works because it frees Mary up for a whole new chapter. There's also this gem of a line in the trailer that instantly grabbed me. If Mama were alive, what would she do? And the answer without hesitation is she'd insult everyone cuttingly. It's such a pure Downton Abbey moment. Sharp wit, layered with affection, and perfectly in character. That's actually the final line of the trailer, which is kind of brilliant because it leaves you smiling but also nostalgic. But there are other lines worth noting, like, "The world is changing." And honestly, that's been one of the most consistent threads throughout the entire series. It's the backdrop for almost everything, how the Crawleys adapt, or struggle to adapt, as the world around them shifts. This time, it feels even more significant because the story's heading into the 1930s, right into an era where change wasn't optional anymore. Something else that stood out, Mary and Edith seem at peace? That's huge. Their relationship started off like a battlefield, filled with constant little digs and outright rivalry. Seeing them actually on good terms feels almost strange, but also really satisfying. It's been one of the show's most layered and complicated dynamics, and to end with them getting along feels like genuine growth. One thing the trailer doesn't do, though, is bring back the original Downton Abbey theme music. That theme is iconic. It's been my morning alarm for years, so part of me misses hearing it. But apparently it doesn't matter much for the trailer's success, because it dropped just 6 hours ago and already had nearly 500,000 views. Clearly, people are ready for this farewell. And about that line, "Long live Downton Abbey, amen to that," it's not really meant as a literal historical statement. It's more like a toast, a blessing for everything Downton stands for. In the story, the house isn't just a building, it's a living piece of the Crawley legacy, holding together traditions and memories, and tying together both the family and the staff. Saying those words is like saying, may this whole way of life keep going for generations. But when you look at the real historical backdrop, the tone shifts. By the late 1920s and into the 1930s, the Great Depression was hitting hard, and big estates like Downton were struggling. A lot of aristocratic homes in Britain had to be sold, downsized, or even demolished because the families couldn't keep up with the costs. So, in that context, the line takes on this bittersweet edge. The characters are hoping for survival, but history tells us it wasn't an easy promise to keep. The trailer's overall tone matches the way the movie has been marketed so far. It's very much about saying goodbye. There's that sense of everything has led to this, and the story beats are loaded with meaning. Mary's position as the head of Downton is front and center, but now she's a divorced woman in 1930 England, and that's no small thing. Divorce was still rare, and high society could be unforgiving. That sets up a huge potential conflict for the finale. Can she keep her standing, and can she keep Downton running in a changing world? Of course, Mary's story isn't the only one in play. There's also the return of Cora's brother Harold, played by Paul Giamatti. His appearance hints at another layer of drama, especially since it looks like he's bringing bad news. Then there's Robert. You catch glimpses of him looking deeply troubled, which makes me wonder if he's facing some kind of personal or moral crisis alongside everything else. And we can't forget the staff. The trailer doesn't give away much about them, which makes me think we might be in for some surprises. Mr. Carson was still butler at the end of A New Era, but maybe retirement is creeping up on him again. Thomas hasn't even appeared in the footage yet, which is curious. Anna and Bates look happy, which is nice, but I'm guessing there's more to their story than just contentment. The thing is, this trailer leaves plenty unanswered, which is exactly the point. We get enough to feel the weight of this final chapter, but not so much that we can predict everything. And maybe that's why I'm even more excited. There's the promise of big emotional payoffs, some inevitable surprises, and probably a farewell that's going to stick with us. By the time the credits roll, I'm hoping we'll have a sense of where everyone lands, not just the Crawleys, but the people who have been part of Downton's life behind the scenes. Because even though the focus is often on the upstairs drama, the heartbeat of the show has always been the connection between the family and the staff. So now, with the Great Depression looming, a newly divorced Mary in charge, and the Crawleys trying to hold on to their world, this last chapter feels like it's going to have all the ingredients that made Downton Abbey so addictive in the first place. The stakes are personal, but they're also tied to something bigger, the survival of a way of life. And even though we know change is inevitable, we're still rooting for them to find a way through it. If the trailer's anything to go by, the grand finale isn't just about tying up loose ends. It's about showing how far these characters have come, even when life didn't go the way they planned. And maybe, just maybe, it's about giving us one last reminder that, in its own way, Downton Abbey will always endure, if not as a real house in their world, then in the way we remember it. Amen to that. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay in the loop. And if you want, you can share your thoughts about this video in the comments below.